Southeast Texas Weekly, brought to you by the Modern Vein Surgery Institute at Privity Clinic for Surgical Care.
And we're back on Southeast Texas Weekly. I'm Kevin Steele. Good to have you with us to talk politics today with our esteemed panel of folks who are very involved in what appears to be the crucible of American politics on the issue of funding. Will the government be shut down? Literally. Let's move to James Shannon, Beaumont Business Journal, W.L. Pate, Beaumont City Councilman, and Michael Lindsay with Lindsay and Parsons to talk more about it. We're really at the end game. We just have a week and a half here. Let's start with W.L. Pate. Give me an idea, W.L., if this vote that we're now seeing, a 230 to 189 vote to defund Obamacare on one hand, but keep the government rolling on the other, keep the government open, does this in fact put this issue in the hands of Democrats, as some Republicans have said?
Well, I think if you looked at the last time the government was shut down, and I don't think anybody wants to shut it down.
Republicans lose on that issue. If
well, no, actually, they picked up 2 Senate seats, as a matter of fact, after it was shut down. Because what they found out later was it really wasn't shut down because everybody who worked for the government got paid. Nobody missed their turkey dinner for Christmas.
This would be one where more people would, in fact, lose their paycheck.
But here's what we need to look at. The vote, as you mentioned, was 230 to 189, which meant there were some Democrats that voted to defund it. As you'll recall,
Lindsay, why are these Democrats voting on the idea of defunding Obamacare if it's a fundamental tenet to the White House?
Let me make one point first. 219 to 212 was how it passed originally in 2010. 34 Democrats voted against Obamacare at that point in time. Now you've got Democrats 230 to 189 voting to defund it. It's a big problem for a lot of Democratic candidates out there as well. And I apologize, Mike, didn't mean to step on that question.
Democrats are free thinkers. They'll always vote their conscience and what they think's right, and getting Democrats all on board in a single issue is like herding cats. It just never happens.
Not all Democrats have, in fact, been so generous on the idea of defunding Obamacare. As we take a look at a full screen today showing comments from the House Minority Leader, Nancy Pelosi. Let me see that full screen where the former House Speaker says of the vote on this Friday, reference defunding Obamacare, but keeping the government going, this vote, it's a wolf in wolf's clothing. Either you don't know what you're doing or this is one of the most intentional acts of brutality you've cooked up. Did the Republicans cook something up with this? Is it politics?
All right, let's get some context here. This is the 43rd vote by this House to defund Obamacare. And WL, my friend, let me correct you. 230 Democrats did not vote against it. That was almost all Republicans and maybe a handful of Democrats. I haven't seen the names.
No, I don't know who they are. The number was 34 Democrats voted against it in 2010.
Right.
It was 219 to 212. No Republicans voted for it. None.
Right.
And they pretty well jammed it because they control the House. We turned it around this time, the Republicans control the House, and they said, look, we can do a better job, and they've made a presentation for an alternative to government takeover of 1/6.
I think your point being that there's certainly not unanimity even within the Democratic
Party. There's only a handful of Democrats that voted to defund it. Here's the reality. This was the 42nd or 43rd vote by this House to defund it. It's not going to happen then. It's not happening now.
Michael Lindsay, is it not a matter of where those Republicans, though, are hearing from their constituencies saying, we really feel as if this is going to be a bureaucratic mess that's going to affect all of our lives and our health and our access to medical care. Is this not the constituencies of American lawmakers saying, we don't want this Obamacare?
Well, in Texas, we're clearly out of step with Obamacare and moving forward. We're seeing the worst of everything, and our governor's totally been obstreperous in trying to keep the state of Texas in the 20th century. If you look at states, a state like Massachusetts that has had, in effect, Obamacare that this was modeled after, it works well, people are covered, their premiums are less than ours. A progressive state like Minnesota, the insurance rates are coming in, and they're less than ours are in Texas. So I don't know why I would be scared to have my premiums go down. I am scared to live in a state where we have the highest rate of uninsured people in the country. And that's a shame. That's a crime. That is brutal.
I'm a political mastermind, and I believe I have a prediction today to deliver that the Senate will come forward and knock everything the House just put forward down.
Gee, that's
my thought.
that's a safe prediction considering it's happened 42 times before. Let me correct your presumption that the House Republicans are responding to their constituents.
You don't think
they
that?
voted as a monolith 42 times. They don't care. Let me tell you something.
They don't care about their
Kind of like
constituents.
the
now.
Democrats voted for Obamacare in May.
When you take the individual elements of the Affordable Care Act, so-called Obamacare, and you poll them, people like them. They like not being able to be dropped by your insurance company when you get sick. They like they have to write you a policy even if you have a pre-existing condition. They like that parents can keep their children on their thing to the age, I guess.
They like still having their
You take
insurance.
the individual elements and poll on those, but what happens is people are negatively respond to it because you have people like Sarah Palin and Michelle Bachmann shrieking about death panels and grandma has to die.
We've got to take a break, and there, no doubt we'll have a lively discussion on more of this when we come back.
Let's hope grandma survives.